Hi, thanks for joining Arsenal Fans Focus TV. This podcast is all about you, the fans. Your passion, your opinions, and for the love of the game, take centre stage. Right, I'm joined by some well-known Arsenal fans. We've got Adam, we've got Martin, we've got Jake, sorry,
Yep.
and we've got where's your names?
Curtis,
Where's your names? Has everyone got their names up? Curtis, you got your name up?
No, it's not showing for some reason.
Martin's your name up?
no, I don't think so, mate.
We all wanted the names to join, but it's cool.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Guys, look. Before we start, I want to go through each person. I want to start with you, Martin, and I want to ask you this. Marty. Sorry, then. Marty.
I'll let you off, Pat. Just this once, mate, because I'm feeling nice. It's Thursday night.
Marty. Where the bloody hell did that performance came from last
Language, young Patrick. Language.
Where's that? Where did it come from? What do you think? How do you feel?
What the performance went on last night?
Last night, yeah.
It was a good performance. What do you mean? What do you mean? How do I feel about it? I thought it was a good
performance.
performance.
Come on. I mean, Arsenal's been having a roller coaster season so far, right?
I don't think we have. I really don't think we have, and I'm going to explain.
You don't think we've been having it this season? It's not been a roller coaster season.
I don't think it has. I think it's been a normal Premier League football season. I mean, it's what you kind of expect. Look, we've had some sendings off. We've had some disallowed goals. We've scored a lot of goals. We've conceded a few goals. We've won lots of games. We've lost a few games. We've drawn some games, and we've beaten a lot of the teams in and around ourselves, and we're second in the league. Unfortunately, we're not first. We've had some injuries as well. But look, it's been a fantastic Premier League season. It's everything I'd expect from a Premier League season. At the moment, I'm on the edge of my seat. I literally actually am on the edge of my seat, but I'm on the edge of my seat with the actual situation regarding Arsenal Football Club due to obviously the transfer window, who we potentially could bring in, and obviously we've just beaten Tottenham 2-1 in the North London derby. I don't care whether we fielded 11 cats on the pitch and we won it by the ball rolling in, whatever 1-0 with a goal or what. I couldn't care less. We beat Tottenham Hotspur and that's it. It is a really fiercely contested game, and we won it 2-1. We nicked it. They could have nicked one at the end, and I feel really good. We're unfortunate with the cup situation, at the weekend. I think in hindsight, if I'm realistic with you, it's done us a favour because look, we haven't. On a realistic note, have we got the depth and the levels and the strength in this squad currently?
That's what. Before you go into that, Martin, that's what we're going to be talking about. Let's not go too far. Let's not go too far ahead of ourselves on that one. But
sorry, Patrick.
Thanks. You know something, Sonic, man. Just say what you want to do. Say what you want to say. Just ain't no. You know what I mean? Stop that. Listen, you're right. Sorry, Marty, for cutting you. Anyway, let me go. I'm going to go to you, Jake.
That's right.
What do you think? Do you not think?
I agree with Marty. To be honest, I agree with Marty. I don't think it's been that bad. I think we've had our squad depth is quite thin at the minute, considering some of the decisions that's gone against us early doors. I don't think we're in that bad a position. I think we're in probably the right position, right behind Liverpool. We haven't been playing well or how we have been the last couple of seasons. We haven't got that fluidity at the minute, but we're still in a good position. Champions League, second in the league. Liverpool have got some tough games coming up. Hopefully some other teams can do us a favour. We can just focus on ourselves. And yeah, again, I think even the last three games, I think all performances have been quite similar. We just took our chances and we were well up for it yesterday. But yeah, doing well.
Sorry, Patrick, can I just finish quickly what I was saying?
Yeah,
last thing, I'm really sorry that I don't mean to tear the arse out of it, but just what I would say, exactly what Jack was just saying then, and fantastic points. Listen, for me, the conclusion of it at the moment concurrently is we are 4 points off of top. Liverpool have just dropped points. Liverpool and Nottingham Forest have both dropped points because let's have it right, they're both in the title race. Okay, Nottingham Forest legitimately are in this title race at the moment as it stands.
Absolutely.
Do we lack some firepower up front? Could we have scored maybe 4 or 5 goals yesterday? Potentially, yes. But the bottom line of it is we're doing well in the Champions League. We've got a fantastic squad, and watching Arsenal Football Club, we're playing some fantastic football, and it's in exciting times. That's how I see it.
And I totally agree with you. I do agree. The reason why I say a bit of a yo-yo season is because, sometimes me personally, okay, fine. Sometimes I feel, I don't know what is their mentality of the team when they're going to come out. You don't sometimes know what the mentality is going to be like. Sometimes.
Are you sure you're not a Tottenham fan, Pat?
Something. I feel like a Tottenham fan, right? Yes, listen. I'm a nervy one because
mate, you are, mate. I can see a bit of therapy coming in here to calm the nerves or something.
I'll tell you what, mate. Look, at the end of the day, I'm taking it back from the back of last season. All right, and this is the reason why I'm saying that. I know we mullered team. The way we used to play, no team wanted to play us. No one wanted to play us because every time we play a team, they knew that could be 3, 4, 5 goals. All right. This year, it's totally different. I get it. I get what you're saying, Martin. What you just said about we've got a depleted squad, but I don't want to jump ahead of myself, Martin. But you've got the way I see it, and I've got to be honest. I may be wrong. I'm just a supporter. I might be wrong, and I'll never say my opinions is right. But this is how I feel, Marty. Look, at the end of the day, Arsenal for the last two seasons have been absolutely blinding. They've been tearing teams apart. Now, the way I see it, we were 2 points, just 2 points from winning that league. We knew on the back of it, at the end of the back of last season, we need a striker. Now, I'm jumping ahead of myself here. I really am. And I always thought when this is going to be the best summer because I know we're going to go out there and get the striker that we need.
Right. Do you know why? Do you know this was my final point, right? What, for me personally, the best thing about this season's been is the unearthing, literally from the ground, Ethan Wanyeri and Miles Lewis Skelly. What an absolute pair of ballers. Now, when you look at, we've got these high-end talents, and they have come through an academy system. They are gooners. These boys are legitimately actually Arsenal fans, like Smith Rowe was, and like, I think, Reece Nelson. They're actually Arsenal fans. There's nothing better than having an Arsenal fan that's been at the club since the boy. That's why Saka has reached the levels that Saka's reached. It's because Saka, if you took Saka out of football, he'd say I'm an Arsenal fan. If he went to play for another club, like, let's say Saka went to play for Real Madrid, I guarantee you he'd still watch Arsenal on TV. He wouldn't watch like Chelsea every week or Newcastle. He'd watch why? Because he's a gooner. And that's it. And you pick your team when you're a young. So I did when I was a young boy. And I think it's a similar story. Once you pick your team, you stay with your team. Apart from there's a few scoundrels and scallywags out there that might change their team through their life. But I don't know. I mean, they are out there. They sit amongst us. And but the reality of the situation is unearthing those talents is absolutely. It's just gold dust, and I love seeing that.
I agree. I do agree. So what do you reckon, Curtis?
It's been an interesting season. In some ways, we've been good. Some ways, we've been bad. Like it's been like any Premier League season or any football season in general. You get highs and lows. For me, I would have liked to seen us build on what we had last season. So I'm a little bit disappointed in some ways. I think there's still room to grow, but there are some positive. Obviously, I have deep chats with Marty all the time and Adam all the time, and there are some positives. Obviously, we're still in some of the competition, so we're still up there competing for obviously Champions League. Me and Adam were fortunate. We went to Inter Milan away and Sport Lisbon away. Whilst we didn't get the result we wanted at Inter Milan, the football there wasn't too bad. And what the icing on the cake towards the end of last season was, not end of last calendar year, a lot of us didn't give us a chance to go to Sporting Lisbon away and get a result, and we did have a massive win in the Champions League. So I do have some hope because, like, for example, Chelsea, if I recall, they won the Champions League and they finished 6th in the Premier League that one season. So, I think whilst Champions League is going to be difficult, I don't see why we can't get past, like, Girona or Dynamo Zagreb at home and then Girona away, and make serious strides in the Champions League. In the Premier League, so like Mike says, we're still up there contending. So it's about if we can build some consistency, and it's kind of dependent of A, if we can get our forward attack line working well, and 2, if we get some like signings in the window. Personally, I don't really see us doing much in the transfer window, so I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Arteta 3 seasons ago where we were scoring goals for fun and from around the team. So we just have to stick with the team and see where we go. But it's nice to. I'm kind of disappointed, obviously, with the FA Cup, obviously coming out. Tactics wasn't too great, and where we've had a bit of lack of squad depth, it was kind of difficult to. I'd have liked to see a fully strong squad on Sunday when we went to the Emirates, but I can understand why Arteta he didn't want to play Partey, Rice, Odegaard, because if one of them had got injured, we'd be screaming and saying, "Oh, one of our players is injured." It's kind of a trade-off between risking the players getting injured versus a cup competition. The Carabao Cup, like Mike did touch on, we do have a chance when we got to Newcastle in a few weeks' time in the Carabao Cup. If somehow we manage to score 2 goals during the game, we take it to penalties. We may even score 3 goals in the game and progress. So we'll have to see. So,
sorry to butt in. I think the United game on Sunday was a one-off because apart from that Bruno goal, which was a brilliant bit of quality by him, even though I hate him with a passion, they weren't that great. And again, if we were just a couple of chances away, we would have had a blinding week. Do you know what I mean? It's not like we weren't creating anything and we were up against the Kosh or anything like that. So, yeah, I think some freshness up front, left winger, striker. But it shows as well yesterday, obviously it's the North London derby, so we're all going to be up for it. But I feel like that was probably the best atmosphere of the season yesterday, for obvious reasons. But I don't think since like the middle of last season, I don't think the atmosphere has been as good as it has been.
Where are you on this, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I would completely concur with what was just said there by Jake. I think the atmosphere on the terraces at the Emirates. I mean, let me be frank. I think it's been poor at times. I've been going to the ground for about 4 years now since I've been the season ticket holder, and I remember we reached the stage in 21-22 where it was a bear pit in there pretty much every single game. It was loud, it was ferocious, and it was really, really just intense. That level of intensity seems to have dropped off. Now, I did an interview on TalkSport after the Manchester United game, and I said on that I really feel, and I don't really, this is what I really don't get. It's a sort of overarching point. There are a number of people, when I go to the Emirates and I get involved in chanting, getting involved in a healthy way, supporting my club, I occasionally get people looking at me as if to say, what are you doing? Like, why are you getting up? Why are you getting that animated? And I'm thinking to myself,
are you serious?
I am serious. I'm sorry to, I'm sorry to be frank, but I'm
that
completely
happened
serious.
yesterday. That happened yesterday of all games. Walking from the Gunners pub, chanting, me and a couple of mates, and it was just like, what are you doing here? Are you?
This is the thing. This is the thing, and it's absolutely the case. And
guys, can I just quickly ask you? Sorry, Adam. I mean, I'm going to ask you, and you can carry on this. Guys, is this how everyone feels? Do you all get this feeling of negativity?
No, negativity around the club.
Yeah. I mean, especially like when you go, especially like what Adam just said. Adam just
I do get it. I mean, there was a term for it which Roy Keane brought up it was about 10 years ago, the prawn sandwich brigade, and it was all like when football went a bit corporate. Which, listen, when you're talking about the amount of money that you're putting into these players, the wages, the stadiums, the upkeep of the stadiums, the kits, everything, and the razzle-matazz of the Premier League and all these cup competitions, you do need a certain amount of income, and you do need a certain amount of corporate, which includes sponsorship, and it includes essentially non-diehard football fans, which obviously to us guys, we're diehard football fans, and we understand football in maybe a slightly different way than your average sort of punter that wants to go to the Emirates because they're going to get, fed, watered, and they're going to watch an amazing game of football at an awesome arena, and they're going to see what the score will be at the end, sort of thing. And that's just the difference. You're going to get that. You do need that, because that brings in, but it's the levels of it, and it's the levels of the game. The thing that really got to me yesterday, and I brought it to light on AFTV and a couple of other channels as well, was look, I'm completely with you guys. And funny enough, there was a guy sat next behind me. There's a few people that, obviously there's tickets that go around near me, but there's a few of us. And this guy all game was so loud. He was going, he was singing, he was chanting, and he was like, "There's not enough people that do this. The people sit there." And it was really good. And do you know what? That guy on his own created a fantastic atmosphere. And hopefully he'll be, I wish he was there every week. But what I didn't like seeing, and this is a big issue for me. This is something that's, I think, even more toxic than some of the really toxic stuff I've seen. I was sat and I was watching the players warming up in front of me. You've got the Tottenham players warming up in front of you, and then you've got the Arsenal players. Now, Zinchenko was there, and I'm not digging him out hard. I mean, I've said it, but I am actually, because he's a liberty. But and he's high-fiving like guys he knows from Tottenham. And I'm like, at this point, we're 1-0 down, and I'm like, you're talking to the other team. This is Arsenal v Tottenham. I'm not asking you to punch him in the head, or to spit on him, or tell him to F off or anything. But you just don't high five him. And if I see any one of you in the street, I'll be like, "Hello, mate, how you doing?" That. If I see any one of you here in the street, I would be like that. But I wouldn't expect that. If I was on the sidelines warming up as an Arsenal player, I don't care who you are. If you're in a Tottenham shirt and you're warming up potentially to come on the pitch against me, I ain't talking to you. I'm not speaking. It's a competition, because I saw Martinelli do it with Richarlison. And then what happens when they come in the 86th minute? Richarlison goes in on him and tries to half break his leg. And I'm like, mate, you was whispering in his ear, laughing with him about 70 minutes ago, and now he's trying to break your leg. And I'm thinking, mate, you've got this wrong. You don't understand what the levels of competition with this NLD, what it means to the fans, and what it means actually to the history.
I think those players, you got to remember, you're talking back in the Adams days and the Bolds and people like that. They knew what this fixture meant, not only to Arsenal, but to the fans. But obviously, the modern day, what I call the modern day footballers, apart from the Scally and Ranieris, they're not going to understand what it is. They just think it's just...
No. But Pat, I'll tell you what, Skelly, listen, one thing I'll tell you about Skelly and Ranieri is they get it, right?
That's what I'm saying. I know. That's what I'm saying. They get it. Skelly
gets it, mate. Skelly last night,
that's what I'm saying.
Do you know what? And even Jurian Timber gets it, because he tried to take Son. I see him a few times get the studs on Son, and I see it. And even, do you know what? And even Raheem Sterling. Then they went up for a corner and they had Rice on Son, because when we had a corner, they were looking to break, so they put Rice on Son, so when they get the ball out and they break on us. But then they changed Raheem Sterling, because they realised that Rice was obviously a lot bigger and there's no point having Sterling, so they put Sterling on Son. And you should have seen the bite that Sterling was giving him. It was different from anything in any other game that I've ever seen Sterling, as an Arsenal player.
Before I want to jump back to Adam a minute on this. In fact, I want everyone's comment on this, because one of the things what disgusts me the other day is what I heard about
Havoc's wife.
Do you know something? I think that is out.
Disgusting.
I really want to swear. Whoever did that, I don't believe that's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, it is an Arsenal fan.
Well, if it's
no. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what it is. It's someone that supports Arsenal, and their way of, obviously, listen. If it wasn't an Arsenal, it was someone that was that frustrated. It was someone that was that frustrated by the result that they took it upon themselves, that they thought that was the correct behaviour and correct avenue to attack not only just the player, but his wife. Listen, if you're going to lambast players, they get paid a lot of money, and it kind of goes with the territory. But you do not get, it's like, for example, if I had a problem with Adam, I wouldn't then take it out on his missus. You don't get his missus involved.
Listen, that's bang out of order.
With Adam, I'll take it out with Adam.
Bang out of order. Bang out of order.
Yeah, it's a liberty. Okay. It's a liberty. Absolutely liberty.
What do you say, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, after the game, we were talking about this. This actually came up quite widely in discussion amongst the fan channels that were outside the Emirates. And obviously, everybody knows Ty from AFTV. He's a very well known contributor to AFTV and also other channels. But he put it really, really well. And he said it's absolutely appalling and disgusting, these people. And he was saying there should be custodial sentences. And look, without saying sort of too much about that, I think there needs to be real deterrent for these people to be spouting this sort of vitriolic, disgusting nonsense. It's just not. You can call yourself an Arsenal fan, but if you behave like that, you're not a fan. You're not a fan. We don't want you.
Absolutely
Our
disgusting.
Well,
real
you're not a
Arsenal fans.
supporter. You're not a supporter. You
Yeah,
might
you're
be.
not a supporter.
Yeah.
That's right. If you were a real Arsenal supporter, you don't behave like that.
No.
Everybody has a right to go to work, and then because Havertz's job is to play for Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah.
Who he supports is by the by. He's an Arsenal footballer. When he goes home, he has the right to a good night's sleep, peace and quiet, nice time with his wife or girlfriend, and to have those comfortable liberties that we all enjoy on a daily basis. He
That's a
should not
fact.
be given abuse. I mean, it doesn't
No.
matter. It doesn't matter how he plays. It doesn't matter if he misses 5 penalties in a game. I
No,
mean,
that's
look,
right.
you could criticize him and say, look, he needs to work on his penalty technique. I'm talking about a hypothetical
Of course,
situation.
that's different.
But you don't go and abuse the guy. You don't do it.
I mean, when I heard that, I mean, I want to hear your point. I want to hear your point, Curtis, on this. When I heard that, I thought, honest to God, you know something? I'm going to put it into perspective. It's a flipping football game. All right. I don't care how much these players make. I'm sorry. All right. I mean, at the end of the day, I wish I can earn it like them, but that doesn't give them the rights. That gives no one any rights to pick on someone's family, someone's wife, especially if someone's pregnant. Come on, guys. I mean, it's wrong. It's completely wrong. I don't care what you earn. I don't care. At the end of the day, you've got to put it into perspective, guys. End of the day, yes.
Sorry to jump in. Can I just say another little bit of perspective? This is how I see this situation. In anyone, if I'm honest with you, a lot of people criticising Havertz. They really, unless you've won a Champions League, you don't really, this guy's been there and done it. Like, he's a top level performer, and that's just a fact by what he's won. And now you've got a lot of people lambasting this guy, going, he's this and he's that. Bottom line, none of these people have got anywhere near that level of playing. Half these people probably can't even kick a football, let alone win a Champions League, and they're going in on this guy like that. That's also just insane. Listen, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I respect their opinion. When people start getting really technical about him,
everyone's just like, right. We're all entitled to it.
I think it's about people that don't really understand football.
Yeah.
I think Havertz didn't have the best game against Man United, but you can't deny what he does for us. Like, even yesterday, the shift that he puts in for this team, week in, week out. Yeah, he can work on his finishing. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
he's in that position. He puts himself in that position to create that opportunity for himself.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, absolutely, totally agree. Curtis, let me ask you this, man. I'm going to jump into the transfer. Arsenal's been linked with, God knows, whatever player. Realistically, being realistic, who do you think, right now, what position do you think Arsenal should be focusing on, if we need to focus on them?
Well, there's several, but I think we're crying out for a centre forward, for a striker, if anything, because we need a bit of competition for Mr. Kai Havertz, and there's going to be some games where it's a bit tight, and we need somebody who's clinical, because there might only be a few chances will drop to the centre forward. Some with good hold up play, and he has good goal scoring ability, and also can help contribute to build up play. So for me, realistically, we're not going to get £150 million and put it down for Alexander Isak for him to come in from Newcastle. He's having a great season there. He ain't going to come, certainly not in January. He might come in July if we put their money down. Then you've got to see Victor Gyökeres potentially, but he's having a great season with Sporting Lisbon, and there's a lot of talk of him going to Manchester United to join Ruben Amorim. I don't. I just can't see the club putting £85 million down for Chris either. But we need to go in and acquire baby. But that chap, was it Lookman? Lookman, who plays for Atalanta.
Yeah,
like he interests me. Like, he had a good game. He's a quality striker. Europa League winner. Or maybe go and inquire about that Benjamin Sesko, potentially, who was linked with previously. Go and get him on loan. Go and get a Vlahovic on loan. Someone who's a bit feasible, because obviously we're not going to be looking at the 100 mil fee that we were looking at for Vlahovic previously, or 80 mil fee. It'd be a lot more reduced. And he's not, since moving on from where he was, Fiorentina, or wherever he was playing.
it was at Fiorentina.
Was it Fiorentina? He was
at Fiorentina, and he was banging form. He was on fire, and he went to. We could have got him for 50 million, and then obviously, but no, it was around 100 million, something like that. And then obviously now, he hasn't done well at Juventus. He just hasn't settled in. But I'm not personally the Benjamin Sesko situation. I don't know whether he is the correct guy. Gyökeres, I like the Gyökeres signing. I just think he fits. I just think, he's finishing. And I think, obviously everyone says, oh, well, he was at Coventry before, and he was at on loan at another. Who?
Brighton.
Right, and that's it. And everyone thought he was useless. But then at Sporting, he's been phenomenal. Even when he played against us, you could see that in the second half, he really gave it against sort of Saliba and Gabriel. There was a few chances at times when he broke through. You could see his real power, that he wanted to off the shoulder and power past the defender. And then he don't have a problem hitting the ball outside the box. And, I just think he tried to put his foot for it too much. And I really like that signing. I think that's a fantastic signing. And I really like the Zubimendi signing that we're banded around with at the moment. I think he is probably one of the best number sixes in Europe, potentially the world. He's being courted by the likes of Liverpool, Manchester United, and
but can I just jump in there? I mean, I get what you're talking about, Zubimendi, and I get that he's not going to be coming in the January transfer window, and I get obviously advanced talks are going on with him for the summer. But what I want to know is, guys, come on. I mean, look, we're light up front.
Yeah.
I mean, Adam, we're light up front. Come on.
So Adam, we're light up front. So on Saturday, mate, get your boots on, stick your shin pads on.
Exactly.
You're on, mate.
I mean,
I'll give it a go. I'll give it a good go.
Get on there, son, mate.
Shifty, up front, Adam. I mean, come on, seriously, guys. So
I may not have the quality, but I'll put the effort in.
I want to see you in them dangerous positions, Adam. And when that ball comes to you, mate, I want to see you putting your foot through it, mate.
Okay. All right, I'm going to ask each and every one of you 2 names Arsenal should be going for. I mean, I'm talking about January, guys. We're light up front. Jesus is out. Okay. We've got Saka out. We've got, I know we've got some youngsters coming in, and I know we've got Trossard, and Havoc. But guys, I really do. I want to know, if you had the money, would you go out there, and break the bank to bring it forward this January, and if you would, who are you going for? I'm going to start up with you, Jake.
I just think you just got to be realistic with Isak's out the window. It's never happening. Gyökeres, I do rate highly, but again, I don't think we'd. Ideally, I think we need to go out and get Williams. I like Williams a lot.
Yeah.
But with Arsenal, we've always not. We just need to go and get that number 9. We need to get that striker. I don't want a guy that can play 3 positions. Obviously, I do think we should sign someone else like that is versatile, can play both wings.
You're saying an out-and-out striker.
I want an out-and-out striker. I want a number 9 that can come in, and I know they're like rock and roll shit, and you can't get them. But yeah, I think this Sesko is like, Sesko, okay, unproven, 20 years old or 21 years old. You can't expect him to come to the Premier League, and from January, I don't think he's going to come in and hit the ground running. Is he better than Havertz? No. So we need to be very careful. I think like Sterling, the Sterling signing, I really want him to do well, but every time he comes on, I just feel like it's never going to happen for him. I feel like he's trying so hard to make something happen that he shoots himself in the foot half the time. And when you want him to just beat a player, you just feel like he hasn't got that belief in him to beat the player. But to be fair, his performances have been getting better. But yeah, sorry, back to transfers. I've got an oddball one, and I think we need to get a backup keeper.
Oh, really?
I know Neto is there and waiting, but imagine if Raya got injured now. I would feel like our season's over. I know it's really hard to get a real good backup keeper. That's
Neto is a
come
good
in and
backup
sit
keeper.
behind Raya and sit on the bench. Sorry, Marty.
Neto is a good goalkeeper.
He is, but well, to be fair, he hasn't had a game yet, so I can't really say much.
Usually the problem with Neto is he's been cup tied, and usually the backup goalkeeper plays all the cup games, but he's cup tied. That's the problem.
All right. But hang on. So who's your two? Jake?
So I would say Williams, and any striker. Vlahovic does appeal to me if we can get a good deal for him, a loan and maybe a buy in the summer.
Curtis, who's your two?
Probably the Vlahovic as a centre forward option and a winger. I think realistically, it's going to be Williams. I think we should try with Kudos, but with West Ham having Bowen out with the fractured foot, I can't see Bowen coming to us. So yeah, I'm going to go Williams and Vlahovic for me.
Mine?
Do you know what I do? This is how I've got this sorted, right? This is how I do this, right?
You've got it sorted, mate. You better give
this sorted. I'll tell you what I do, yeah.
Rashford.
So what I do is I go onto Sociedad, yeah, get a real Sociedad, right? I ring them up and I say, listen, we're taking Zubamendi, we're going to meet his release clause, and as a favour, we're going to give you Jorginho, yeah, for a cut price 2 million to plug your number 6 gap that Zubamendi's going to leave you. Okay, so take Jorginho. We're going to give Jorginho a signing on bonus of 5 million quid just to keep him happy, and we're going to move his family out there. Then we're going to go to Newcastle and we're going to go to Isak and we're going to say, listen, Isak, listen, Newcastle, here's 150 million quid. Isak, join up, back up with the boys, with Odegaard, join up with Marino, join up with Zubamendi. We've got the old crew back. Remember when we was boys and we was knocking it around apart? Now we're men. We're going to go and take this Premier League apart and show these amateurs what it's all about. Boom. Zinchenko, you're gone. See you later, son. Tomiyasu, you can go too. Get out the door. And listen, little freshen up. That's it. Tell me I have not just won Arsenal the Premier League.
Mate,
tell me I've just not sorted everyone's problems out right there.
You forgot about Kieran Tierney as well,
mate. All right.
Left winger.
Do you know what? At the moment, with the situation, I believe that Kieran Tierney can fill in a little role. But listen, he can fill in. I don't think he's as toxic. I don't think he's But I listen, get rid of him. Listen, if you need to get a bit of money in for the 150 million quid, get rid of Tierney and all. I'm sure there's a couple of other players on that list.
Can I just say something on Tierney? Sorry, when he's come on, how many times did we see Tierney play that ball round the back to the striker? None of our wingers are doing that sort of ball. He's come on straight away and whipped a ball straight in on a sixpence for the striker. Obviously, he didn't score, but yeah, we've missed Tierney.
Mike, did you know? Did you know there's a job going at the Arsenal for the?
I heard. Pat, if you could put me forward for it, mate.
Hey, I'm going to put you forward. I'm going to have to put you forward because I'll tell you now, you've got it sussed. You've got it in the bag.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Well, listen, if their resolve won't break with getting rid of Zubamendi right now, you go in strong, and then you say, okay, right, we're not going to meet the release clause.
What? You're wasting your talent.
We are going to give you Partey and Jorginho. Because listen, Partey's gone at the end of the season anyway. We're giving you Partey and Jorginho. Now you are CDM'd up to the eyeballs, and we took Marino off. So we've just sorted your complete
now.
Have our ex-midfield, and we'll have Zubamendi, thanks.
Listen,
and we'll get Isak.
We're going to put
the boys
petition.
Are back in town.
Listen, mate, you've sold me. All right, you've sold me. We're going to put a petition up for you to be sporting director. Good. That is it.
Brilliant.
Get rid of the rest of them. We don't need no one else.
There you go. Love that. I'll tell you what though. One thing I do like the Vlahovic. I do like that signing. Originally, when that came about, I loved him. I'll tell you what I love about Vlahovic, and I don't think that Juventus play him quite as well as they should, because obviously in Italian football they set out defensively very well, and they do play off the shoulder, and he has to run on. But
So
where our game's quite expansive and we play free-flowing football a lot of the times, and we attack teams, he sometimes needs the ball played through to him on a plate for a one-time finish,
fine.
and
So
that's where I think he excels.
Right, you know that. And I know, Jake, you just said his name, but what I want to know is, but then why? I mean, he sounds like the exact player, number 9 we need. Then why is Arsenal just going for a loan?
Because we ain't got the funds, apparently.
Oh, come on!
But
Do you
do you know why?
believe that?
Do you know why? Because I'll tell
You
you why,
really believe that?
Pat, because they haven't worked out my Jorginho Zubamendi swap deal yet. They ain't worked that out properly. And they ain't worked out how to prize Isak away from Newcastle. But all they need to do is roll in there and sing the boys are back in town.
You better get up there.
Down there, Odegaard and a few of the other ones, and jazz it up a little bit.
You better get up there, mate, because you're wasting your talent being on these bloody things. What do you reckon, Adam? What are you going for?
For me, I don't see why you can't put some money on the table right now for Sporting Lisbon. I don't see why there's no ambition to say, do you know what, guys, we want your man. We want him, and we want him now. Stick a high cash amount on the table and test their resolve. Well, I mean, why does the football club not do this? Why are we, instead of going all in, instead of diving into the water, we're sort of dipping our tippy toe in it and thinking, oh, shall we not, shall we not? You know, he who hesitates loses, and that's the thing. That's the problem with the club at the moment, a little bit with the transfer strategy. I mean,
or has he got plans in place for the summer?
No, I'm not having this. We have money. The club has money. There's money to spend.
Adams, listen, I'm not having this. I'm going in the Portuguese La Primera. He's going in there with a pint in his hand, 85 million squid, large, and he's just he's bowling through that door, wide open, going on that counter and going, give me Gyökeres now, and I'm not having a bar of it. Get him here now. Right now. Personal terms, stick him on 200 grand a week. You're in the club, son. Let's go. You're coming with me.
Why not? Why not? Why not? But on the realistic question, Pat, that you want answered, on the realistic point, I think Williams could be a goer potentially, and then I think the second play they might want to look at is I agree with everybody here. The Vlahovic signing, I think, a change of scenery would do him good. His move to Juve has not worked out. And I think that could be a clever piece of business. I think those two signings could be clever business and could constitute a good deal for the club. But I'm very carefully looking to see what they do because, although we're bantering about money and all of that, the club surely have some money. Surely.
Listen, I mean, they do. I mean, look. I mean, everyone talks about January is a month where it's very hard to get the players that you want. I get it. All right, sure. Who wants to sell their best player in January? If you're going, especially if you're in all four fronts, or you're trying to prevent relegation. I get it, but the end of the day, it's all about money talks. And I know people say it's not that simple. Oh, I want this player. Here's the money. That player has to want to come to you as well.
But what you have to remember is that with the clubs, I could either go and get Isak for 150 million now, and he signs now, or I get him for a lot cheaper in the summer. And do I take that saving of 40 million, 30 million, whatever it may be?
Would you get him cheaper in the summer?
If Newcastle don't get Champions League, I think you could go in a lot cheaper than.
Listen, the thing with the exact thing with that summer situation is if you go bowling into Newcastle now, they're like Isak is their only chance realistically of getting Champions League football. Now in the summer, Newcastle will get European football, but the draw of Arsenal and the draw of winning the league. And Isak will know that as a professional finisher. He will know also, Isak will know that he's the main man. At the Newcastle, he's the main man. obviously, but to go to a club like Arsenal, with all due respect and credit to Newcastle, they haven't won anything in about 25 years, and they're not an Arsenal, they're not a Manchester United, and they're not a Liverpool, and that's just the truth of the situation. So prizing them away, like you say, you're completely right. In the summer, without Champions League football, that's a massive for a player. And what Arsenal then go in with, you're knocking 50 million quid off of him, and also you've got the financial fair play situation with which at Newcastle, obviously you've got to think they've got a slightly smaller stadium, their revenue streams aren't as great, their TV their TV revenue's not as great as Arsenal's. That's how Arsenal get around financial fair play so much. It's because essentially they're just a much bigger club in the whole world.
I was just about to go and ask you there. So what do you think the challenges will be for Arsenal securing the players that they need?
You're going to have to overpay in January. Simple as that.
What do you reckon, Curtis?
Potentially, yeah. My man there might be on something. We might have to overpay now in January. Or the things we can wait around, but some people are scared. Like if we wait around till summer, that the Gyökeres deal, someone else might go in for him. Like he might go to Manchester United, or we might lose out because there's other teams also who are going for a striker as well. For me, I personally know how the club is. I see us either getting a stopgap for now as a striker or winger or versatile forward, and then potentially going in for a marquee signing in the summer. Because
and that's the thing you just said there, going for a stopgap. What striker is going to want to come to Arsenal in January, knowing that he's just a stopgap?
But the thing is, we like Marty likes to allude, like we're still in different competitions, and the reality is they're going to be sold a projects, right? So even if we get a Lukman in or Vlahovic, reality is okay. Fair enough, we're out the FA Cup. The Carabao Cup is kind of looking unlikely, but the thing is, they're going to come in. They're going to get some game time because they're going to be rotated. They will be rotated, so they are going to get some minutes within the Premier League and the Champions League. And certainly next season, when we're back in all competitions, they're going to play regular. So they're going to think to themselves, if you look at, was it Brian, was it Burma, but whatever the chap's name is at for example, Brentford.
Bueno.
Is it in Bremer? Okay. So he's gonna think Arsenal is going to look like an attractive project. He's going to be playing for a big club, a global club, which has a fan base all over the world.
That's going to absolutely slate you every game.
But he's going to be excited to join because you're going to think he's playing in a small stadium. Brentford's quite a tiny stadium, right? Compared to coming
15,000.
15,000 at Brentford, right? It's like tiny versus coming to play at Arsenal with 60,000 fans week in, week out. We play their regular. And when we're in the Champions League, we might be playing twice a week. And if we're not, we're playing home and away in the Premier League and the Champions League, he's going to get regular game time. So for someone who's playing on a not that Brentford's on a small stage, because they've actually done well since coming up into the Prem, but versus being at Brentford versus coming to Arsenal is a massive, similar to like people say about Rice. Oh, Rice is not going to come to Arsenal. Rice can go to Manchester City where he's going to win trophies, etc. He wanted a project. He wanted a challenge. That's why he come to Arsenal. He could have easily gone up to Manchester City and gone there and won titles, but he would have had to relocate his family. He had been battling for game time versus Rodri and other players. Arsenal's quite an attractive project at this moment of time. We've come a long way.
Realistic. I think that's a realistic target in Bremer, because I think Arteta is too loyal to his players in one degree. It's like if we did go out and get a striker, where are you going to play Havertz? Are you going to play Havertz left day? I personally, I prefer him as a number 9.
Do you know what I think really works with the Mbueno signing? It's just that I think that at the moment is a stopgap for the Saka and the Wanyeri situation, and then also when they're fit, you can stick him in. You can stick him in the 9. Mbueno is a forward player. You can play him across the front three, and he's an attacking. He suits our style of play. He's a quick player. He gets onto the ball. He beats players and he charges at defenses and he shoots. He will shoot on sight. He's not so much of a in the box kind of finisher. He's a giving the ball, he'll run at teams. And if you look at the goals he scores for Brentford, how they catch him on the break. He's a good finisher. I think if we were going to go for a stopgap, he would be the player, because you can nick him from Brentford, but then Brentford are going to be very light up front, and Brentford it's obviously convincing anyone to come to the Arsenal. If they don't want to come, then you don't want that player.
Yeah, of course. Totally agree. What do you reckon, Adam?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I think Mbuemo's a really decent player. I like the look of him when he played against us. I thought he looked really strong, really, really powerful, the kind of player that, is going to scare defenses. And, it's the kind of backup you could see coming in where people would be like, you know what? Yeah, this guy's got a bit, rather than a backup coming in and thinking, who is this compared to, Havertz, Sterling and Trossard. The other thing I've thought about as well, and we talked about this, Marty and I had a discussion about this. One of Arteta's options, and I don't want to get talking about internal solutions again because I'll end up pulling my hair out, or the little of it that I have on my head. But Martinelli used to play in the early days of Arteta through the middle, and he's a quick player
I would love that.
who, I don't know. I mean, I don't think his finishing is necessarily good enough, because you saw him against Newcastle one-on-one. He's got to bury that. And he hits the post. So I don't think he's necessarily good enough. But what will Arteta play around with? Trossard can play the 9 as well.
One thing I'll say on that, sorry, Adam, like we spoke about this, didn't we, Adam? The thing that I did really like seeing is that offside goal that Martinelli scored against Manchester United, when essentially he went straight down the middle and he's one-on-one with a keeper and he completely buried it. He plays for Brazil down the centre, and I think that is the option. But the problem we have is putting Martinelli is it isolates Havertz. Now, you're not going to take Odegaard out to put Havertz in because there would be absolute uproar. And then where does that leave? I think where does that leave Havertz? He's an interesting. But then people would say the argument for him is he shouldn't be in the pitch. He shouldn't be on the pitch because he's useless. And I do generally think, especially when you're going into Champions League games, personally, because the guy's won it. I'm not saying you need to win a Champions League. Every player on the pitch needs to have won a Champions League, but you need experience balanced with youth, and you need, any, it would be like, let's have it right. If this with this podcast, if we were all a bunch of kids, it wouldn't work. Or if if we were all, it's you've got to have a mixture of opinions. You've got to have a mixture of people.
So are you saying that we should concentrate more on bringing in the youths than the proven players at the moment?
I think personally, if I'm honest with you, we've brought in enough youth at the moment, just in the way of Skelly, Wanyeri, and Saka, and these guys that come through. We are in a situation where I think, look, I don't necessarily like it because I don't know, it could prove me wrong, and we keep buying these. It's like if we go and buy Mbueno, we get him. It's like, well, we needed a number 9, and then you've got that. But if that, like I say, the bit of business that I would do, Jorginho, I wouldn't want. Look, I love having Jorginho at the club. I really do. I think he's a fantastic. I want him to stay at the club, but his contract's up, and he ideally wants to go to Palmeiras. What I would do is that real sausage, and if it's not, you all guys all there? Yeah, you're still there. You went, and then I'll do the real sausage ad, and then, if not, if that resolve didn't work, I'd give him Thomas Partey. I'd stick him in with Thomas Partey, get him, and then that opens up the Isak deal, and that's the way that I see that bit of business go. Or I'd just go and get Gyökeres or Vlahovic.
That's it.
But then if you go and get, what do you do with Havertz? You've got a guy that's on 285 grand a week. What do you do with him? If you go and buy Vlahovic for 50 million quid, he's going to be on 200 grand a week. What do you do with Havertz?
Yeah,
Alex Odegaard's injured.
You can still play Havertz in the middle, can't you?
I think we're going to have quite a big turnover in as far as players out in the summer, because you've got to think Zinchenko, Tierney, Partey,
he's gone this
Jorginho.
week.
I think Trossard might go.
Yeah, he might go in the summer.
That's interesting. You really think Trossard?
I don't know what everyone else has heard, but I've heard that
has he turned down a contract? I heard he turned down a contract at the moment.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think he might be off in the summer. So then we got Martinelli, Saka, obviously, and where he can play on the wing, but I think he will end up playing more central. I love Lewis Skelly. I think he can play left back. I think he can play centre mid. So
right, we're talking about a lot about forward, a number 9. We've got two midfield players are leaving in the summer. We're going for Zubamendi. Great. Who's the other? Who do you think we should get next one? We should be going for.
Don't need anyone. You've got Zubamendi. They have Zubamendi, Marino, and Rice. And oh, so yeah, I'm saying that actually, they just need to be a backup, didn't they? No, sorry, and obviously
Let's
I've
talk
got
about that Bellingham, brother.
No, this is it. Then you've got Odegaard and you've got Havertz as well. I swear I'm missing someone out. I swear I am in the midfield. But yeah, you've got Marino.
When Eric can play the 8 or the 10, he's
Yeah,
more 10,
exactly.
really.
There you go. That's it. You've got, listen, if you bring in Zubamendi, Jorginho and Partey are going to go. I think that Zubamendi, Marino is getting it. You know, he's not really had enough game time personally. I don't think. Rice is very, very rarely injured. Very rarely. Like, I mean, obviously he had that toe injury recently. But you ask any West Ham fan, they'll turn around and say he was basically never injured at all. And he plays a lot of games. He plays for England consistently. You know, I don't know whether it's always good. It's always good to have that depth, but then you can bring Havertz into midfield. You've got the cover for Odegaard if he gets with Ranieri. You've got versatile options. I think for me, yeah, Partey and George, Partey and Jorginho are going to go. We need Zubamendi and Isak or Gyökeres, and that's it, really.
Do you agree with this, Adam? Do you think we need another midfield, or you just feel that we've got enough? We've got here.
Yeah, I think we've got enough. I agree with the opinions that have just been discussed just now. I wanted to just revert back, Pat, if that's okay, to a separate point about this January transfer window. Because I've just been thinking about it. If he's not going to get a number 9, the other thing he could look at is getting a proper winger, someone, because what we're struggling with, and being a season ticket holder, see it up close. I mean, I think most of us, if not all of us, are. See it up close. Martinelli, there's a crisis of confidence at the moment. Saka's the only one taking on his man, beating players, and of course, he's not going to play again this season, or it's unlikely he will. And even if he does, he's going to take time to come back. I think if he's not going to go and get a number 9, if that's simply not possible, the bare minimum is a quick winger. I think the type of winger Man City had with Leroy Sane back in the day, a guy who's just quick, can take on players, and when he gets in, he scores.
Can I just make a point on that? Sorry to interrupt. I think this is all down to the way Arteta plays football, and I think with Saka, he very, very rarely loses the ball, so that's a bonus for him. But I think Arteta is so risk averse, and the way we've played this season is so, I'd say, risk averse. We don't like to make that inside pass. Obviously, Odegaard's pulling the strings for us, but I just feel like with Martinelli, we give him the ball, and before he used to take on his man every time. Yeah. Sometimes he loses the ball, but I just feel like, he doesn't want to take on his man. Is that drilled into him from Arteta? Is that?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's a good point, because it seems like that. Watching it seems like that.
Because even with Sterling, it's like everyone was screaming for him to take on his man, and then sometimes I feel like Arteta's telling him not to do that, to turn back, pass it, go wide again.
And that brings me to another point. I know. I don't want to keep going. I want to try and keep a structure.
Sorry, I went off topic.
Am I the only one who thinks Arsenal, especially at the final third, take too many touches?
No.
It's been a problem for a few seasons now.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem. Let me explain to you why you do that, right? The reason why you do that in professional football, okay, is you get the ball into the final third. Right. Sometimes if you take too many touches and you give the ball away, it doesn't allow you the chance to recycle the ball. Right, when you recycle the ball, it allows you another opportunity to attack the goal, which means you retain possession of the ball. If you retain possession of the ball, guess what? The other team can't score. And obviously, if you dominate a team and you start to break a team down, when you've got the ball, it's a lot easier to play with the ball than it is without the ball. Now, if you're playing, if you've played piggy in the middle, if you're playing piggy in the middle and people are throwing the ball around you, the people that are throwing the ball around, if you're the one in the middle, you're the one steaming around trying to catch the ball. It's a lot harder. That's why Emil Smith-Rowe's having problems at the moment at Fulham in games with game times, because Fulham are used to chasing teams with the ball. Now, that doesn't fit into Emil Smith-Rowe's style of play, because he's used to having the ball and playing the ball around and then breaking through players. And that is why it's not a problem. I would rather see, sometimes this is why you play back to the goalkeeper and you go again. It's like, you know, there's sometimes if, you know, there's a shot, you don't take it. Sometimes you've got to take a shot because you need to take the shot because it's there. And if you don't, the shot's gone and the chance is wasted, granted. But then there's sometimes when you're running down, you then give the ball away, especially if you're in an advanced forward position, then you give the ball to the other team. That gives the other team an opportunity, especially if they know that you're a pressing team, to have one or two players down the other end, like Tottenham did with Son. And then all you've got to do is put the ball down to, you know, the other player, and you've caught them on the counter attack. And that is how pressing teams get caught on the counter attack, by not recycling the ball effectively.
To be fair on that point as well, it is based on how the other team's set up, because everyone's playing 11 man behind the ball with us, so it limits our options to play those through passes.
But my problem is, I mean, maybe I'm not a stats man or an analysis man. I see what I see with my eyes. Okay, and every time we penetrate down the other side's opposition and we get there, it's either, way I see it, we've got chances taking a shot, but it always seems to me we have got to take that. I mean, give that final pass to that player, and by the time that final pass goes to that player, how many opposition's players are right behind that ball? And Trossard, I'm going to take Trossard for instance, when he played against Newcastle. Okay, how many times did Trossard, when we finally took his shot after all those passes, those possessions we had, how many times did he hit a Newcastle defender?
Can I interject quickly?
I know exactly what you're going to say here, Adam. I know exactly what you're going to say.
I might be wrong. I love my team, but
you know, I used to go back in the day with my dad. I used to watch Arsenal back in 2013-14 as a Red member way back when, and there is a real pattern at the moment re-emerging that was in place back then, and that pattern is backwards, sideways.
Yeah.
Backwards, sideways.
Yeah, that's
sideways,
right.
backwards. And the problem is what I struggle with, and I completely agree with the point that we don't appear to be shooting enough.
We don't.
I fully endorse that as because that's the same opinion as mine. For, you know, at the end of the day, if you don't shoot, you don't score. And when we're getting in these positions, I think what I would say is Arteta seems this season, for whatever reason, to have put the handbrake on some of our creativity. Because I wasn't seeing these same patterns last season or the season before. Watching it looks different. Like that first half against Manchester United was absolutely dull. It was just boring to watch. And I'm sorry to say it, I don't like saying this sort of stuff. But unfortunately, it is just my opinion that we seem to be, there is a sort of aversion to risk that seems to be at times. And we just talk about Martinelli. Martinelli does not look like he wants to run at the fullback. Saka always does, but obviously Saka's not available to us right now.
Right, can I just say,
Nwaneri runs at his man. Nwaneri is fearless again, out. So
then you've got
Adam,
on that exact point that you were talking about. It was like last night, exact point you were talking about like last night, which I love seeing, when that ball come through from Odegaard to Trossard and he shot on sight and then bang, it's in the bottom corner. That is what you need.
Exactly.
But that's it. That's about positioning and being in the right position.
That was Thomas Partey.
Marty, look, I'll tell you what, right? Let me just quickly say something. Yeah? When Arsenal played Newcastle and Manchester United, okay, Arsenal had 49 in possession, of 49% in possession, all right, in the area. They had 39 shots on target. I mean, shots on goal. On goal. I mean, what is that about?
But they had 39 shots on target.
That shows you that it's not that bad.
Listen, that's 149 touches. Please, just hear what I'm trying to say here. Yeah, 149 touches in the opposition's penalty area. All
Hmm.
right, and 39 shots on goal.
What in the Arsenal-Newcastle game?
But no, I'm talking about Arsenal in both games, Manchester United, in the Newcastle game and the Manchester United game.
Yeah, it's a good. That's a good. I'd say that's a good statistic. It's just, we need to. This goes back to the clinicality situation of needing a number 9 potentially. If you're touching the ball around in the box that much, a number 9 might a good number 9 might just put their foot through it and it's in the back of the net like Isak did against us. The ball comes through, he turns him on the shoulder, bang, and it's in the back of the net, barring in. What can you do about absolutely nothing? Those are that's the sort of finishing I like to see, and unfortunately, but look. Again, these games are lost by margins. You talk about, say, the Manchester United game. Listen, we lost that by fine margins. Declan Rice was also accountable for that. So he had a couple of headers. One of the headers,
Timber,
he should have directed better at Havertz. One of the balls came into Havertz and it hits him, and because it hits him, he didn't realise he was going to hit him, and he just goes to poke it. But really, I mean, in hindsight, he would have been better off taking his time and then putting his foot through it, and he would have been, straight in front of goal. But listen, these are all learning curves, and these are all situations that, what you've got to understand is at least we're the ones dominating these other teams, and we're the ones. We know what we need. We're not a team that is sitting back and we're like, shit. We already. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear either, actually. But we're not the ones sitting back and thinking, oh my god. They're in our penalty area. How do we get out? And we're playing just on the counter attack. We don't forget we do have many ways of scoring. The set piece thing, I love that. I think that was something that needed to be sorted out, because it's not just going forward with our set pieces, it's at the back our set pieces, which have also been sorted out, which no one talks about, because we don't really concede from set pieces. And I'll tell you why, because we've got a fantastic goalkeeper in David Raya that knows how to catch the ball in the air and knows how to position, and we've got great defenders that know how to defend corners as well. So we're not conceding goals. We're conceding more goals, I think, than we were slightly last season. And we look a little bit more, because
we're better
people
now.
realise the only way to get at our back four is literally you've got to go at Gabriel and Saliba, because they're unbelievable. And that's it. But look, are we in a great position this season? Yeah, we are.
I'm going to be wrapping up soon, guys. But just one thing,
wrapping it up like a Christmas present.
Can I just say on Marty's point there?
Yeah.
There was a stat that came out the other day. We've scored more goals and we've conceded less goals than we have done in the same position last season.
There you go. We're actually doing better.
So we're actually doing better.
Look at that improvement.
Had a bit of a tough week,
actually
right?
doing better. Adam, you're the stats man. What do you reckon about that?
Well, look, I mean, I think we are doing better. If we're doing better in that aspect of the game, then what we need, it just proves it even further. If we get a clinical finisher, this is, I think, the frustration on my part is I'm seeing how great this Arsenal team could be.
Yeah.
With the right additions, with the right finish. Just you're talking, pardon the pun, when you decorate your wall, you've got to get a nice bit of finish on that wall to make it shine, and that's where the club is at right now. We're nearly there. We're challenging with Liverpool. We're challenging with Manchester City. Have fallen right off. I think it's just these final touches, and when these final touches can be done but aren't, that's the frustration. That is where it really, the knife goes into the heart as a Gooner, because it hurts, because how much we could be dominating with the likes of a Gyökeres up top. Who knows what we'd be doing? I mean, I said to a few people last night, even a Lacazette. Do you remember when Lacazette first came to the club? He scored some brilliant goals for the Arsenal. He was fantastic in his first couple of seasons. Even if we had the likes of him up top this season, that version of Lacazette, we'd be ahead of Liverpool. I've no doubt about that. We would be ahead of Liverpool. We would be at the top of the league, and we would be discussing, it looks like we're going to win it, boys. It looks like we're going to win it. Instead of if, it would be we will. Yeah. And fine margins have cost us. And that it's about fine margins, like you said.
I want to throw a name in. I don't know if anyone's heard about this. He's a Brazilian. Don't ask me. I can't remember the name of the team he plays for, but he's taken Jesus's place in the national team, and he's a 23-year-old, and his name is was Igor Jesus. Has anyone heard of him?
No.
Look him up, because Arsenal's been linked with him, and this guy is supposed to be quick, he's intelligent, he's strong, and he's a young player, and he's taken our Jesus place in the national team, and his name is Igor Jesus.
So basically, you want Jesus to come and save us again.
Mate,
God.
I would love
Easter is
to
near, mate.
so quick.
If he was any good, he would have been picked up 19, 20 years old.
Well,
That's
no,
what
listen,
I'm going to say.
look, he's apparently he's 70. He is. Well, if you've got to be good taking Jesus, Arsenal Jesus, place in the national side.
I know,
But Jesus is never available though, because he's always injured.
And not only that, he's only 17 million, guys.
I know, but the thing is what you've got to understand is that Jesus realistically has been laid up for the last 2 years with ACL injuries. And after the first initial ACL injury, which he picked up at the national team in the World Cup, I believe it was, then it's once you have an injury like that, it takes you realistically about, from getting back on that pitch, it will take you about 6 months to get back to a minimum to get back to those periods. Remember, with Michael Owen with that hamstring injury, he was never. This is my biggest fear about.
I'm not saying that he's taken.
So someone had to take his position.
No.
I hear what you're saying.
I never said that. No. Hang on, you got it wrong. What I'm saying is he's taken Jesus' place before he was injured.
No, he didn't, because Jesus. How did Jesus get?
Yes, he is.
Jesus got injured playing for Brazil.
Sorry?
Jesus' initial ACL injury was when he was playing for Brazil.
Yeah, but he's back. He was back since then, hasn't he? He's been playing since then. He's been all right since then, hasn't he?
So what you're trying to say is that the Igor Jesus kid, he's been playing that great that in the last 6 months.
Jesus has been useless up until the last 4 weeks. And then he's been useless. He couldn't score. He couldn't hit a barn door. He scored 3 goals in 36 games.
I'm throwing it in there.
Not literally.
I think he's good.
He was terrible. Huh? I think my 12-year-old, my 11-year-old daughter could have taken his place.
Was he even getting in the Brazil squad?
No, he wasn't. He was useless.
I don't think he was.
A while ago he was. He did make the cut a while ago though, wasn't it?
It
was in the last 18 months. Like maybe it's been a while, at least 12, 18 months since he's been.
No, that's it. It was coming back so they had to replace him, but he hasn't. Jesus, this is a sad thing, and I really feel for Gabriel Jesus. I really do. So he just got back to form where he scored like.
Yeah.
We lost Marty.
Oh, he's gone.
We lost Marty. Okay, fine. Well, look.
He'll be back on in a second.
Oh, yeah, he'll be back. What I'm going to do now, guys, just quickly, I'm just going to quickly just say something to people out there who's listening, who's going to be following us. I want to leave 3 questions for in a comment. I want to hear back from people. What do they think is, which position should Arsenal prioritize in this window? That's the first one. Second one is, what areas of players does Arsenal think should basically sell in this January to bring some players, the players that they want in, and which players should Arsenal be going for, or who do you think Arsenal should be going for? And one more thing is, should Arsenal focus on experience, or should they be focusing on potential youth players? So, right, hopefully, just join the comments and everything. Adam, just rounding it up, honestly, what's your feeling about this window? Do you think Arsenal's going to basically be doing anything in this window?
Do you know what? I think they've got no choice. And this is something that I wanted to say a little bit earlier on, but I'll say it now. I think they have absolutely zero choice with the amount of injuries that are there at the moment. They've got no choice but to make some signings. And if they don't, we will be falling not just away from the title race, but we'll be falling down towards fourth or fifth, I reckon, at the end of the season. So they absolutely have to prioritise signings. In terms of the quality of what they do, I don't know. Again, something I said on on my interview with TalkSport was the summer transfer window. The more we look at it now, I think we can all agree we didn't do it. It was abysmal. It was just appalling. I mean, yeah, Marino, fine. Calafiori, fine. But everybody else, Neto hasn't had a game. Sterling's been very poor up until the last couple of games. It just wasn't what we needed. We're Arsenal Football Club. You know, we're not Dagenham and Redbridge Football Club. Do you know what I mean? And we should be looking to the highest of high standards, and that is the point. We need pedigree. We need pedigree. We need players that want to play for the Arsenal, want to wear the badge, but also players with real quality and that can excite us as fans. Did any of you? I'll pose this question to all of you. Were any of you excited to see Raheem Sterling in an Arsenal shirt?
No.
No. I was shocked. I was shocked.
I thought it was a backward step. I thought we were doing some good work in the transfer market, and then I thought that Sterling was just a panic, couldn't get our target, so we've had to get somebody in.
So what do you? I'm putting the same question to you, Jake. What do you think?
It's difficult. I think we're playing catch up to a degree in regards to the transfer window. Again, what Adam was saying about the previous transfer window, but now I think we're going to have other players coming out, like I said before, Zinchenko, Tierney, Partey, Jorginho, potentially Trossard. Jesus is going to be out for a year. We've got to fill some gaps in the squad as well as getting real quality that can actually start for us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if we have another season where we get a few injuries, we're back to square one. So,
totally agree.
And it's not fair on the current crop of players who, like Newcastle and Man United, I just thought we looked so leggy in some parts of it. And even against Tottenham, it was quite scary to see. They didn't really have much, but I remember a couple of times, Man U as well, they took their ball from their box and they just ran all the way to our box. I don't know if anyone else noticed that a couple of times in the last couple of games, but I was just like, is anyone going to put a tackle in here? We just looked real. Partey's been brilliant for us this season, but he looked very like that part of the game. That's where he gets found out. But we need to be smart. And if we don't sign anyone now, there's no excuse now. It would be unforgivable, and it would be detrimental to any sort of title challenge if we weren't to sign anyone now. Yeah. But then I don't want you to go out and, for example, like a Sterling signing. Like if you go and get Rashford now, just keep me out of it because I'm not getting involved.
Yeah. Well, true. Curtis?
I think realistically they're going to have to go out and get a striker and a winger or a couple of wingers. There are going to be stopgaps, but the thing is, look, when we did have that stopgap window some time ago where we brought, was it Kivior, Jorginho and Trossard in, we did have some success with them. So for a couple of seasons, and they proved to be worth their weight in gold. If anything, like they probably exceeded expectations. Certainly think like Jorginho has been in there for some really key games in midfield. Trossard we've utilised in a variety of positions like left wing, right wing, centre forward. Kivior we've seen him play left back and left centre back. He's proved vital on some of our campaigns. So if we're not going to break the bank, hopefully we go out and get a couple of half decent forwards. And Arteta does like these versatile forwards. So if we don't get someone like dedicated strikers, they're probably going to be people who can play across the front three. But we've got to get a couple of bodies in because it's been concerning the last couple of games we've had where you looked at the bench and the only attacking option was Sterling, or there was a time also when Sterling was out injured more recently, and there was a couple of games we had where only substitute players we had were like basically midfielders and defenders, or kids from the academy, which is concerning. So, but then they might try and like get some of the kids from the academy into the squad. So similar to how we had Bukayo Saka break into the first team, Emil Smith-Rowe break into the first team. We've done a similar Lewis Skelly, and obviously where Lewis Skelly can play left back, he can play centre because he was traditionally a CDM. Similar to Ranieri's an attacking midfielder, but we've seen him play right wing. There's talks of that. Was it that Max Dowman that we have? He's a 14-year-old striker. He's coming up in the ranks, and so that's why people looking back. Was it Chidi Obi Martin who we let go to Manchester United because they wanted to pay him something insane money like 30k a week or 60k a week? If we had him now, fair enough, he's 16, 17 years old, but in those tight games, we could have said, right, here you go, get 25 minutes, and he might have gone and scored a couple goals. So we'll have to see what business we do, but it's vital because we're still in the Premier League and Champions League, and we've got quite a lot of games between now and the end of May.
Guys, listen, I think it's been brilliant. You guys, honestly, I really appreciate your thoughts and your ideas and how you feel about the game. Thanks for joining me on my first podcast. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, guys. I don't want to make it too stiff. Do you know what I mean? I just want everyone just to relax, and you guys made me feel relaxed about it. But I just want to say to all the other people who's tuning in, thanks for tuning in. Excuse me, got a bit of a cold. All right, share your thoughts. Leave us a comment, and please be a part of the conversation. Your voice matters, and stay safe out there. Up the Gooners, and appreciate it. Thank you very much. Right, don't